Hey Raiders, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be on killing Amius the Lunar Archon in Rotation 2. So the team I put together here is a hard to acquire team, but I'm going to show you some alternatives as well. Morrigaine was a fusion though, and she can keep heal reduction up all times, so if you have her, use her. Blizaar, being a fusion and having the 5 stars, is great to be your tank. I had to re-gear him for this, but he's amazing for it, and he can put up the Brimstone in Mithrala's spot. So I am going to go through the turns, let me show you the builds, and I'll show you some alternatives before I get into it. So here's Blizaar the Howler. He's over 250 speed, he has decent defense at close to 5,000, and he's the lowest HP on the team, so he is the tank. If you were able to finish the fusion for him and pick up the 5-star soul from that event, then you're in great shape. 5-star soul does require accuracy, of course, but it is 100% to land, even though it says 60%. So it works out pretty well. So next is going to be Siphi, and you really just need somebody to put up block debuffs here. And I have her over 300 speed. I have decent defense on her. She's built for my arena team, and she has decent HP as well, and she's in Stone Skin. The Stone Skin kind of is a problem for the first round versus Amius, but then after that it falls in pretty well. Next is Cardiel. Cardiel's fast. He's not particularly tanky, so he has okay HP, so I had to have Blizaar low enough HP to tank over Cardiel, because if Cardiel takes the hits, he dies, even with ally protection. So then next is Mighty Ukko. I had to jack his accuracy up just a little bit, because with Mithrala in the team, I didn't have his accuracy high. And then there's Morrigaine, who really, I lowered her speed a little bit to raise her HP so she doesn't take the hits. She's also kind of squishy. And then have enough accuracy 450 to land that heal reduction. Everything else really isn't that important. You can throw in her buffs along the way, but having the accuracy for the heal reduction is important. So let's look at some alternatives here, because not everybody's going to have all the fusions, not everybody's going to have the Void Legendaries. So taking a look here at what the champions do. First, let's take a look at a Cardiel replacement. So somebody who can cleanse and who can put up block debuffs, and there is one epic that is particularly good at this, and he has them in separate skills, so he actually can take both Siphi and Cardiel's spot, and that is Mausoleum Mage. So he's pretty amazing. He can allow you to do a cleanse on one turn, and on a separate turn the block debuffs and the increased defense. His cooldowns aren't important because you're going to use them once in the 6-turn cycle. So who's a good replacement for Siphi? Well, if you use Mausoleum Mage, then you kind of replace Siphi and Cardiel at the same time. And he also has heals, so that's pretty important. So that allows you to kind of combine the other skills. If you don't have Blizaar, then Ultimate Death Knight's really good. And if you went for his souls, then he can easily be the tank. You're just going to have to rebuild him for this to be low HP, high defense. And maybe enough accuracy to land his decreased attack. That would be helpful too. You could also put the Brimstone on him, so he'd be very useful if you have him awakened. So heal reduction is kind of limited in this round, this rotation, but there's a couple of decent ones. One is a rare who can do it at about 95%, and the other one, so that's Prosecutor, and then the other one's old Grukkus, who can also do decreased attack. I would use them both if you're trying to run a budget team, and you have to have them high HP so they aren't tanking, and decent defense as well. But you, without strip debuffs or strip buffs, you can use decreased attack and heal reduction to trigger the stun, which will get inverted to the buffs, and then you can use old Grukkus, say, to put up decrease attack and heal reduction after the stun, and then you're good. So then to round it out, you can have another decrease attack champion like Black Bear. He's pretty good for this role. Or you could have another healer in there like Vogoth. Vogoth would be great in there, and all he would do is heal. Taking a look at old Grukkus, I never paid much attention to him, but he does have that decrease attack and heal reduction on one turn. So that's pretty decent, and it's a 100% chance to decrease attack, 100% chance to do heal reduction. So he's a pretty decent champion for this. And being there aren't very many champions that do heal reduction available, at least on my account that I have extras of, he's going to be pretty MVP for you if you don't have anyone else. There aren't a lot of replacements, direct replacements for that buff strip for Mighty Ukko's slot. But you could say, where I've got Black Bear, you could put in, what is her name, Gerda Bogbrew. She's not particularly good for this, although she will put up some poisons that will help you kill them just a little bit faster. But you do need the accuracy if you do that. You also need the accuracy for the remove debuff, and she only will remove one of them, and it's a random buff from all enemies. So not remove debuff, remove buff. So it's just one, and then puts up the poisons. So if he gets the increase attack on there and you want to remove that, you can go ahead and do it. But it's not going to work if you have multiple debuffs that get inverted into buffs. So she's not particularly good, and then her turn meter effects aren't particularly good here either. But she is a possibility if you've got her build. I wouldn't specially build her for this. Somebody else who might be good here, who's a recent fusion that not a lot of people really valued at the time, is Ugir. So you could use Ugir because he has that buff strip, that AoE buff strip. So I would use him. I like the idea of the double heal reduction, the double decrease attack, and then Ultimate Death Knight being a great tank for this, and Mausoleum Mage being amazing as a healer. So let's get into the battle, and let's go through the turns. So we come in. Remember, I have Stone Skin, so it isn't going to work perfectly. But before turn 1, you want to put up decrease attack to prompt the stun, and then put up block debuffs to fight through the stun. So let's go through here. Remember, I'm not going to prompt it here because I have Stone Skin. So I'm going to get the heal first. I put up the heal reduction with Morrigaine, and then because I have that 5-star Brimstone, I may get a chance. Yeah, I get a chance to put it up with Blizaar. So does the heal, and then get the smite. So now this one, before turn 2, you want to get heal reduction up. Morrigaine makes it trivial. So my turns are flipped, like I said here. But you would, so here I'm going to put up the block debuffs, but you would otherwise be putting up heal reduction, and that would be about it. And maybe putting decrease attack. And that's what I'll be doing in the future rounds. So Blizaar doesn't really do anything else until we get to the heavy hit, just in case he misses a tank on something like I did with Naya before. So just keep A1ing. Does the stun. I kind of, on this round I went through, I outsped the block debuff, so before turn 3 you have to try to have decreased attack up to reduce the damage. But in future rounds I'm going to have the increase, or the block debuffs up. It's just I went a little fast there. My team is probably a little fast for this fight, but I didn't want to rebuild them all. So before turn 4 you want to use trash buffs like Cardiel's increased crit, so that you can trigger the sleep stun, or the sleep strip, and then the AoE. So I'm not going to use increased speed because I don't want to get decreased speed. So I'll use Cardiel here. And then I'm not going to put up increased speed. Just A1. Okay. If you prompt the sleep, you don't get a turn before turn 5. So we go ahead and do that. And then the AoE. So then, before turn 6, make sure your damage target has enough HP and put up some buffs for survivability. So I put up his Ally Protect and his increased defense, just in case he doesn't get the target, but he should, because I have the team built pretty well for HP-wise. Some of the other stuff is just noise. I cleansed with Cardiel, but I really didn't need to here. Get as much healing as you can in here. So there. Before turn 1, you want to put up decrease attack and block debuffs again, and then I'll put it on 5 times speed and move through this pretty quickly. So mine was a little complicated because of that Stone Skin on my Siphi. It would have come out just like I said on the turns if Siphi didn't have the Stone Skin. I just didn't want to rebuild her and break the set. It's the same with Cardiel. Cardiel is on my he's on my Phantom Shogun team, and I didn't want to rebuild him to be tankier. So then the only thing that's not really accounted for, and what makes Blizaar a really great tank, is the turn in which Amius might die. If he's in the damage form and not the base form, he respawns. So what I was able to do at the end here, as we get a little bit closer, I put up the smite at the wrong time. I was hoping to get it up earlier, but I put it up when he's going to hit it with his AoEs. So I had to tank 2 of the turns. So there was only a 3rd turn, and then I was able to finish it off in the right sequence and die in the base form. And if you can't take it like that, you just basically fight through and then pick back up on the fight when he respawns and don't worry about it. Just keep fighting through. So here we'll see, I'm going to land the smite. It's on the wrong turn, he's going to shift. And I don't want him to die on the other turn. So he's about to go into damage. He went into damage, and so I needed him to A1, and he did. He A1'd again, and now he's going to A1 again, unless I buff, but I'm not going to buff. So he killed him on the A1, and then he dies when he switches forms. So that ended it. I think the options are pretty good for taking down Amius on this rotation. So in any case, hope you enjoyed the video, and take care.